Yo, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thank you for tuning into this video. The supply of silver is vanishing before our eyes. They're abandoning silver mines. They've given up on it, finding it only by accident when they're digging up lead, gold, or zinc, and this is because it's not as profitable. But what consequences are going to come from this? This is the stuff that we're going to be talking about in this video. So before we start, make sure to smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new because I post daily videos. Let's see if this video can get 150 likes. So anyways, let's jump into it. So a couple months ago, I was reading an article about Mexico, Peru, Chile, China, and I think Australia are the top 5 largest producers of silver. But over the last 7 years, they've been abandoning silver mines. They've only been focusing on the more profitable metals. And in return, it wasn't a big deal when I first read over it. But then I realized how extreme this is and how severe this is once I saw to what extent they're doing it. By the hundreds of millions of ounces, they've been cutting back silver production. But see, the thing is that silver is growing. It's like a train. It's picking up momentum in the investing world as people see it more profitable. So what's going to happen is the demand is going to be growing, especially in the year 2020 with silver highly opportunistic with the 2020 presidential election, the trade wars, and so on. But we also see this new factor, which is industrial demand. See, we're heading into the digital age, technological era, where everything's digital. Even cashless nations are appearing. So what's going to happen when the supply cannot meet the demand, especially as the demand rises? Well, this is going to be a very interesting situation, and the people that are owning silver are going to be extremely wealthy because we are going to be the producers. The consumers, the people that buy the silver right now, are going to be the ones selling it at whatever cost because they need it. See, there's a difference between people that want silver and need silver. Me and you, we want silver. We want it, to invest in. We see the potential. It's fun to stack. But see, for our society to function with the newest iPhone, with laptops, with EVs, electric vehicles, even in the medical world, we need silver, and that's a need. If not, the newest iPhone can't come out, your Teslas can't come out. We're going into the digital age, so it's crucial that we keep supplying silver, but the supply is falling, and it's to an extent now that it's no longer we can't catch up. There's no way to catch up and say, okay, we can catch up. We can mask these last 7 years and just over dig it out the ground. No, because silver is actually hard to find. It's hard to dig out of the ground. A lot of people think that silver is much more common than gold, but actually gold is more common than silver. Silver is a tricky thing to dig out of the ground. The gold to silver ratio is 8-to-1, which means every 8 ounces of silver, they dig out 1 ounce of gold. But that ratio is actually smaller since they've been abandoning silver mines. They're digging a lot of gold out of the ground right now, but they're not digging any silver. The only silver being dug out of the ground is from individual private corporations or companies. And this is an interesting thing because one could think that, yes, U.S.-China trade negotiations could affect prices, or stock markets being volatile, or maybe the dollar index, but this single-handedly is going to be the biggest influencer of silver's price. It doesn't matter if prices are manipulated. It doesn't matter if gold and silver is in a bubble. Once this starts to take place, which we're actually seeing early signs of it because industries, the industrial side of it, are already paying premiums on bullion, which they've never done before. So they know that silver is scarce. We're already starting to see it. It just hasn't hit the mainstream yet. And trust me, the year 2020 could be that. Just that. Because think about it. Gold is more of a commodity. Silver is more of an asset. A lot of people think it's switched around. But silver is used for so many different things in the technological world. But gold is more for jewelry. It's more for, bullion, more for stuff like that, coinage. But people don't view it as that. They view gold as the asset. It's because gold is always the royal metal. But we have plenty of gold, especially since a lot of gold is recycled. A lot of gold is recycled. But silver, on the other hand, is lost. When you throw your laptop away, that silver that's inside of it is gone. When you throw your phone away, or when they scrap their phones, they're not taking silver out of it. But I put money that people will melt or turn in their jewelry or their coins, the gold coins and gold jewelry, because it's profitable. So a lot of silver is being lost. So that ratio I said earlier in the video, 8 to 1, is actually smaller because silver is being lost as well, not to be recovered. So this brings me to an interesting point, an interesting situation, because we could say that gold and silver both have potential, but silver has a leg up on gold if we're talking about potential. Because gold, if we're looking at I want to ask you guys a question. What do you think gold and silver's natural price should be? And I want you guys to bust out your phone calculator, and if you think gold should be $1,500, then what should silver be? $100? Then do the ratio. That would be 15 to 1. So what ratio, and that's crazy to think about because a lot of people don't look at it like that. So if you think gold should be $5,000 and silver should be $200, divide that and see what the ratio is, because the ratio is 85, still in the mid 80s to 1. And that shows that silver has a lot of catching up to do. But see, the thing is a lot of people think gold's price is already at its natural pace. So this means that silver could appreciate more. Or maybe, in my opinion, I would say that gold should be around $3,000. Silver should be around 200, and that's minimalizing it because I have to be realistic. You know, I'm trying to keep a realistic viewpoint perspective on this matter, and obviously I think silver should be higher than that given the circumstances, given that in the 30s, FDR changed the gold to silver ratio from 16 to 1 to 75 to 1. That's pure manipulation. That's control. I mean, there was a lot of stuff happening during that time that he also changed, and there's reasoning for some of it, but for the ratio to be that distorted that quickly, overnight, literally, that's scary. That's a scary thought. So ever since that happened, silver's been the underdog. But there has to be a correction. There has to be some type of normalization that comes into these markets because their ratios are too close. The ratios are too distorted, but the value of these metals are too close together. Silver is nowhere near 85 times more or less valuable than gold. There's no way. It's used in everything that gold is used for. Silver is actually more conductive than gold. It's the most highly conductive metal for thermal conductivity and electricity. It's used for so many things, and it comes out of the ground 8 to 1. So if anything, the ratio should be at least 8 to 1 if we're going to keep it realistic from a fundamental, from a factual standpoint. But it's not. It's not, and it's nowhere near that. It's 85 to 1. And people need to understand that this supply and demand is the most influential thing that could push prices higher, and this is what we're starting to see. Abandoning silver mines, they're not looking at the consequences, and it's going to have a big impact on these markets sooner than later. I think 2020 is going to be a very, very interesting year for silver. I'm excited, but it's also going to be very interesting. We don't know what to expect, and that's kind of where the markets are at right now. People are waiting to see where these partial agreements, if Trump's getting impeached, you know, what the 2020 election has in store for it. But also, there's other factors as well. Stock markets were just setting record-breaking highs. You know, the Hong Kong protests, the FOMC holding off on interest rates for the rest of the year. There's a lot of stuff going on. So everything does have its influences, but definitely supply and demand is the biggest. Now, we talked about market manipulation and if silver's rigged, or in a video earlier today, if you guys want to check it out, it'll be in the top left-hand corner. But right now, this is stuff that will burst the bubble, regardless of if gold and silver are in a bubble or if they're being manipulated from spoofing, placing false buy and sell orders. It doesn't matter because supply and demand is going to burst that bubble because they need it. The industries need it. Not just about want. It's not just about making it's not about making a dollar. There's actual tangible You know, there's products that need to be made from it, and these people aren't going to miss out on that money. I'll tell you that. The newest iPhone's always going to come out. They'll pay any price, even if silver is $100. But that's a whole different video. Anyways, thanks for tuning into this video. If you did enjoy it, make sure to smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, because I do post daily videos. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.